Good evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football YouTube channel. Welcome back to the Sunderland Preview ahead of this week's game tomorrow. It's a Friday. We love it. It's a Friday, the end of another week. Can Arsenal's incredible run of wins and clean sheets continue for one final game before the international break? Pesky international break. Although I do think it comes at a good time. Before we get into it, also for those of you saying it, yes, welcome back to the Goon Room. Please do subscribe. We're on the way to 26,000 subscribers. Please do like the stream. If that's the first thing you do, click like on the stream. It does massively help me out. And if you're watching on the replay, and by the way, shout out to all the people that watch back the replay if they can't make it to the live. Please do the hype thing in the comments. That would be fantastic. But look, there's loads of you here, which we absolutely love to see. Pigeonhead is here. Cheyenne, Ethan Udali, Mealy, yo, 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 yo. IZK, VV Vlad's in the building. Ely, Elias, FFSPPL, still got that name. Short videos, good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Sonny, Christopher, James Russell, welcome, welcome, welcome. Sam Berry, Ross Lawman's here. The VAR check for the quiz at the end will be here. Nid is here as well. You'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. Yeah, obviously we've got the Sunderland preview. Talk a little bit about. I'll tell you what, right? They're trying their best. They're trying their best with the rage bait. You know, today I've seen Carragher going at Arsenal again. I've seen Arne Slot complaining about set pieces again. I've seen Ruben Amorim pick up manager of the month for October, despite Arsenal winning all of our games and not conceding a goal. Do you know the crazy thing was? The Premier League announced Ruben Amorim winning Manager of the Month as the perfect month. But it wasn't the perfect month for them because although they did win their games, they didn't keep clean sheets in every game. So, however, all of that said, I am immune to it. I feel like we have reached ascendancy. 6 points at the top of the league. I just can't be touched right now. You can't bring my mood down right now. And so I just laugh. I laugh in the face of the rage bait. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. Kivior playing well makes me happy to see. Yeah, I'll be honest. I've not seen a huge amount of Jakub Kivior. I've not watched any Porto games this season, but I'm glad to know. I am glad to know. UCL set piece goals: Liverpool 5, Arsenal 3. Say it again. Say it louder for the people at the back. Didn't they just beat Real Madrid by scoring one set-piece goal in the game? Oh, yes, they did. It is what it is. All roads lead to the Etihad. Who is our biggest rival at the moment? Is it Liverpool? Is it City? I think, honestly, we'll find out on Sunday by who wins. Jim, thank you very, very much for the £2 super chat. Who's scoring in our game and in the City versus Liverpool game? I'll tell you who's scoring in our game. Mikel bloody Merino. That's who's scoring in our game. In terms of who's scoring in their game, we don't care. We don't care. Hand of Arsenal's in the building. You love to see it. I hope you're doing well. Hand of Arsenal. Absolute legend. What a goat. What a goat. Everyone loves it. Look at it. They're all on their feet for Hand of Arsenal in the chat. Does anyone really want Sporting to not win the title this season? To be fair, I was rattled by Sporting during the summer. Now that the season started, I've not really thought about it again. But yeah, I'd love Jakub Kivior to win the title. I have no interest in Sporting. Whereas at least with Kivior, technically, on a technicality, he is still an Arsenal player. So yeah, if he could go and win it, that would be nice. 6 games played, 6-1 in October, and my manager didn't win Manager of the Month. Do you know what it is? One thing I will say with the Manager of the Month thing is, even though it shouldn't be, it should technically be who was the best manager. A lot of the time, it goes on like performance versus expectation. So Arsenal winning those games, fairly expected. Ruben Amorim winning those games, unexpected. So I do think that plays a part in it. Anyway, look, let's get into, as we always do, Mikel Arteta's presser. And there were a couple of interesting things. So, on injuries, he said, no news, we remain the same, and there's nobody new that can join the squad. So, all the same. So, at that point, you're thinking, no one's coming back. Didn't expect anyone back. Fine. Gabriel Jesus is back in training. Don't know if you saw the clips of Gabriel Jesus in team training, which is great to see. Look, there's going to be a long road back for him in terms of like hitting sort of peak levels. He may never hit those peak levels again, but just great to see him back in and around the team, which you love to see. Now, this is where it gets interesting. On Ødegaard, Havertz, Madueke, Gyökeres, and Martinelli not being available, I cannot confirm all of that, but you are not far off. Now, English is his second language, but is he therefore saying he cannot confirm that all 5 of those are out, therefore, at least one of them is available? You're not far off. If all 5 of them were out, you wouldn't say you're not far off. You'd say you're bang on. Or am I reading too much into it? Is it copium? Is it copium? On if they could be free after the international break, he said some of them, all of them, I don't know. There are a lot of things that have to happen in the next 2 weeks and everything has to be perfect, but I think we'll be very close with most of them to be in a really strong position. Now, that's exciting. As I said after the game in midweek, the cavalry are coming. They're on the horizon. We just need to get through Sunderland. We've just got to hold on, put up the shield wall for slightly longer. And then you've got a huge number of players coming back. I mean, literally like an entire attack. You've got 2 squads worth of attack coming back, which is exciting. He spoke about Granit Xhaka, which is actually really interesting. And just like the way that Xhaka has spoken about Arsenal and Arteta has spoken about Xhaka, I think it's really good. He said, I loved every minute we spent together. When I joined, he was in a special moment in his life and career. And between all of us, we tried to guide him, to give him a different perspective and make him feel loved and valued. And he responded in an incredible way. He made me a better coach. He helped us to develop and improve a lot as a football club. And I will be eternally grateful because I have great memories with him. On if he wanted Granit to stay, he said, I already did it once and we extended his contract. And when he came in and explained the reasons, you have to understand the human being. You have to be grateful. It was a unique opportunity for him to go back to Germany, to his family, and there were certain things that he wanted to experience as well. I believe it was the right moment. He was very honest and straightforward, as he always is, and we found a way to find a good solution for all of us. So, you love to hear all of that stuff. I can't then remember if he might have mentioned something about the injured players coming back again. Someone re-asked him the question, I think. Maybe not. There is more in there about Xhaka, by the way, if you want to read that for yourselves or listen for yourselves. There was cautious about Kai Havertz's return. That's fairly standard stuff. Myles Lewis-Skelly not making the England squad. And Thomas Tuchel specifically said Myles Lewis-Skelly isn't in there because he's not playing enough. Now, I have some grievances with that. But Arteta said, yeah, for sure. I think we're here to support and help each other to give a good perspective of the situation. In the case of Myles, when you look at his age, what he's already done, he's remarkable. So don't look at the one moment that's happening for you because maybe it happens for the right reason. And today you cannot see it. Now, I would say, right, Pekka, thank you very, very much for 5 months from Pekka. You love to see it. Xhaka can have 1 shot on target tomorrow. Yeah, 1 little long ranger that David Raya has to make a worldly save for. I'll be happy with that. I'll let him have it. Thank you very much for that, Pekka. But yeah, no, it's on Myles Lewis-Skelly. I just think, yeah, he's not playing a huge amount right now. He's not playing week in, week out in the Premier League. That's fair enough. And Thomas Tuchel has been fairly consistent with that idea that you have to be playing. However, he is virtually playing once a week in the Champions League, Carabao Cup, alternative competitions. Admittedly, he didn't play against, or he didn't start against Slavia Prague. This decision would have been made before that game. So you look at what's happened since the last international break. He started against Atletico Madrid, had an excellent game. He started against Brighton. Who else did he start against? He started against, who else did he start against? I'm trying to think back the games now. Started against Brighton, started against Atletico. Oh, that was it. That was the 2 games. He started against Brighton, started against Atletico. And in fairness, that probably isn't enough game time, generally speaking. But I'm like, the competition that he's got is insane, isn't it? Yeah, he got an assist in both of his last starts. He got an assist against Brighton and an assist against Atletico Madrid. And the thing is, it's not like he's not getting game time and I don't know, fuck it, Dorgu is ahead of him or something like that. Or in the case of like Spurs, where you've got Jed Spence in the team, well, like Ben Davies, Udogie was injured, Ben Davies wasn't fit. No, Udogie was injured, Ben Davies is crap, so Jed Spence is starting. It's like Myles Lewis-Skelly is at a club where you've got Riccardo Calafiori, who has been unbelievable this season, and you've got Piero Hincapié. Like, it's almost like Italy not calling up Calafiori because he's only playing once a week. Calafiori's only playing in the Premier League once a week, so you don't call him up. Like, you wouldn't do that. And I'm like, if Myles Lewis-Skelly is still playing once a week, which he pretty much has been, and he's still in those performances, not looking rusty and playing at a high level, and his competition is far, far superior to the competition of other players, I'm just like, I would still consider that good enough. Now, I'm not saying he should be there ahead of Nico O'Reilly. People got the wrong impression on Twitter where they were like, but Nico O'Reilly's playing and has been better. I'm not saying he should be there ahead of Nico O'Reilly. I'm saying, like, we have no other left backs. You can have Nico O'Reilly and Myles Lewis-Skelly. So I do think he's been a bit unfortunate. not to be in the team, but it is what it is. Hopefully he still makes it for the World Cup. I'm certain Arteta did answer another question about someone came back to him on the question about who was fit and who wasn't. And they were like, you hinted that someone might be available. And Arteta was like, had a smirk on his face and said, I can't give too much away. So, but I don't think they've included it here, which is annoying. If one of these players was to be available, who would it be? If one of these players was available, now, I don't think it would be Kai Havertz, because Kai Havertz had a long injury. We've not seen him out on the grass or anything like that. I don't think it'll be Gyökeres because they already ruled him out of the Sunderland game, and Martinelli. So I don't think it's either of those two. So for me, it's either Ødegaard or Madueke. And Madueke makes the most sense in terms of like the timeline for the injuries. Because Ødegaard basically had the same injury, I believe, as Madueke. Only Ødegaard got his later than Madueke did. So that makes me think it would more likely be Madueke. Hand of Arsenal retweeted a training video with Noni, so I think it's him. Yeah, possibly. I think that makes the most sense. Ødegaard would have had to have an incredibly quick recovery to have beaten Madueke back. And Arteta spoke about Havertz today in a way that definitely sounded like he's not going to be available until after the international break. So, yeah. If whoever it is, right? Let's, argument's sake, say it's Madueke. I think the solution there would be put him on the bench, and if you don't need him, great. But right, if we're winning 2-0 and you can bring on Max Dowman, great. But if you do need him, maybe bring him on for the final 20 minutes and see what happens. Noni's back. No, we're guessing. We don't know for sure that anyone's back. It was just like cryptically, Arteta, the way he spoke, suggested that maybe someone is back. So yeah, we'll see. I had a nightmare when Ødegaard got loaned out and woke up in the morning and realised how much I love him at Arsenal. Well, there you go. We all love him. I think we've massively missed Ødegaard. I thought we started really getting into the swing of things when Ødegaard was playing. And Ødegaard was one player that was, as he does at Norway for Haaland, really trying to get the most out of Victor Gyökeres in a way that I don't think anyone else really has done. So yeah, I'm excited for Ødegaard returning. I'm excited for all of them returning. Do the call-ups for other countries come out? Yeah, none of them have been called up. Ødegaard's not been called up for Norway. Havertz hasn't been called up for Germany. Martinelli's not been called up for Brazil. Madueke's not been called up for England. And who's the other one? Madueke, Ødegaard, Havertz. Oh, Gyökeres hasn't been called up for Sweden. So that's all of them. Read about Barca finances, and it's so bad. I remember how Wenger stayed to make sure we didn't go broke, worked with a small budget, lost his best players, endured the 2008 financial crisis, kept us competitive in the Champions League, endured humiliation from Merino and his own fans, kept Arsenal before his personal ambitions, won Arsene Wenger. Yeah, it's one of the what Arsene Wenger did in terms of the absolute bare bones squad that we had and the budget that he had to keep us in the Champions League. And I know we went through a long period where we could never get anywhere in the Champions League as soon as we came up against a big team. But what he did to consistently get us into the top four and in the Champions League was like, it's by far and away the most underrated thing that he managed to do. That is a crazy spam just to put sad. What the hell was that? Oh God, it's going to be Kepa is back. What do you mean? Kepa is back. Oh no. Surely he's not talking about Kepa. No, because the question didn't mention Kepa, right? No, the question didn't mention Kepa. So I don't think. Let me have hope. Let me have hope. The question didn't mention Kepa. The question mentioned Ødegaard, Havertz, Madueke, Gyökeres, Martinelli, and he said, I cannot confirm all of that. Okay. Yeah, Kepa had personal reasons, yeah. What happened to my username? SkyLZ Central. I don't know. If HOA retweeted Noni, I'm hopeful it's him. I'm hopeful it's him. I'll take any of them. Because the only thing that we don't have right now is depth on the bench in terms of the attack. Like, if we need to bring on, as we have done at points this season, by the way, like multiple times, we've needed to bring on attacking players, the finishers, right? We don't really have any finishers available right now because of injuries. So, yeah, that would be good. Pigeonhead, thank you very, very much for the 5 gifted memberships. If you have just been gifted a membership by Pigeonhead, please do make sure to thank him in the chat. That is incredible generosity on the Friday. You'll love to see it. What a generous thing to do. Thank you very much. Rory, you're late. Carter, you've just showed up 17 minutes into the stream and accused me of being late. Have a word with yourself, Carter. Have a word. Unless you think I've just gone live, in which case, sort your internet out. I honestly think he's just trying to leave it as a mystery. Yeah, basically. There we go. We've got some thank yous in the chat for Pigeonhead. Absolute goat. What are the chances Arteta is just chatting? It's possible. HOA could retweet my death and I would take it as gospel. Yeah. Honestly. There you go. Shay's back. Shay is back with his normal name. Carter's never wrong. Sack Rory for being late. Well, I beg to differ. So that's it. That's it for the press conference. In terms of the game itself, let me just bring this up. 2 segundos, por favor. Let me bring this up. So, in terms of the lineups, I actually think for Arsenal, it's probably, well, I don't know what sometimes FOTMob knows what it's doing, and sometimes it loses the plot. I think the lineup this week is self-explanatory. For the first time this season, pretty much, I think 99% of people would agree on what the lineup's going to be. Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, which as it stands is considered our best back four. That'll be Zubimendi. Obviously, he missed the midweek game through suspension, not through injury or anything. So that'll be Zubimendi, Rice, Saka, Eze, Trossard, and Mikel Merino. I think that's it, right? I can't really think of any alternatives to that because the only other alternative to having Merino up top would have been if you went like Trossard up top or did some like one area or Eze false 9 type thing, which isn't going to happen. And even if you wanted to do that, even if you wanted to play Trossard up front, there's no one to play off the left anyway. So yeah, I would be very shocked if this minus Norgard plus Zubimendi was not the lineup that we went with. And that should still be, like, as a base level team, that should still be enough to beat Sunderland, right? We're going to have to find a way of scoring a goal. I still think between these three, and we do need a bigger performance from Saka, and probably from Eze as well. From these three, we should be able to find a route to goal. If not, set piece, Gabriel, header, Bosch. It is, however, not going to be an easy game. This is Sunderland have not, I believe, not lost at the Stadium of Light this season, right? Well, I'm second guessing myself now. I'm pretty sure they've not lost at the Stadium of Light yet this season. Drew, won, drew, won, drew. Well, technically, they got knocked out of the Carabao Cup by Huddersfield at the Stadium of Light. But in terms of the Premier League, they've not lost yet. And they've only conceded 1, 2. They've only conceded 2 goals at the Stadium of Light in the Premier League this season. So, yeah, it's gonna be a tricky game. They're a very solid team. It most likely will be, you'd imagine, a back five. Will it be a back five? It's kind of it's a back four. It's a back four, but it will very easily drop into a 5-4-1. Like, this is how they're going to be sat when we've got the ball. And Isidore will probably be dropped back as well. It's going to be very tough to break down, undoubtedly. And it is just another game. Look, keep a clean sheet. You've always got a good chance of winning the game. And that's what we've got to do. Alderete, I don't know if he'll be available. He's actually been a very good player for them this season. Concussion doubtful. I don't know if a Sunderland fan knows more than that. And the other players, other than Diarra, who I know about, I don't even know a huge amount about the other players anyway, if I was to be completely honest with you. But yeah, so Alderete, the only sort of major player that they may have missing. Again, I don't even know what that concussion was, but that is that. Ross Lawman, great shout. Can we have a moment of applause for the scouting goat, Ben Mattinson? We can indeed. We can indeed. Ben Mattinson, if you don't know, get to know. I guess we might have actually lost Ben Mattinson to Como, though, in terms of he's not been posting as regularly, which is a real shame. Ben Mattinson started at a really similar time to when I started making content. And I remember summer 2023, or in the build-up to summer 2023, he was in the chat quite a lot. He'd send me DMs of threads that he'd made about certain players. And he was just producing really high-quality informational content about so many footballers around the world, particularly young players, like up-and-coming stars that were probably due a big move. He had done a thread about Jurgen Timber before we signed him. He had done a thread about Kudus before West Ham signed him. Before we were even interested, he'd done a thread on Benjamin Sesko, as well as loads of other lesser-known players. And it became a thing like, if you got linked to a player that was young, search Ben Mattinson, and he's probably done a thread about him. Anyway, fast forward 2 years, and he is now a first-team scout at Como. Como, managed by Cesc Fabregas, and he's got that job. And that is like, that's incredible. Like, for me, to see that is so cool. And that is, you know, for anyone that wants to get into the football industry, that is such a good example of just put yourself out there. You know, I don't even think his profile picture is a picture of him. I don't think he's ever shown his face. But it was just consistent, high-quality content. Didn't get involved or engaged in any of the sort of other social media nonsense, just focused on his own work. And it took a while. You know, I remember he'd post threads that would get a couple of retweets, a couple of likes. Then he'd post a thread, and if that player then got linked, it would suddenly get shared a lot. And that grind, when you're not getting the sort of engagement, is really difficult. And he did it. So, yeah, huge credit to Ben Mattinson, one of our own, doing big things, which is super cool. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Russ. That was good. Have you seen the post about the Man City fan? No, I've not. You're going to have to be more specific about that. You're going to have to be more specific. The post about the Man City fan. Ben is the hand of Arsenal of the scouting world. Yeah, he's very good at it. Very good at it. Pleasant guy as well. Very humble. Yeah, exactly. Very Yeah, just not involved in any of the sort of social media nonsense. Have you seen the Dan Burn curved header? Yeah, honestly, Dan Burn's header in the week was one of the best headers I've ever seen. Like, legitimately. You watch it, you're like, how does a header move like that? It was crazy. Do you think MLS place is guaranteed and that Tuchel's just testing other options? I would like to think so. The good thing is, by the time you get to the end of the season, Sargent, that was probably Pigeonhead that gifted you. By the time we get to the end of the season, if, hopefully, Arsenal go deep in every competition, Myles Lewis-Skelly is still going to be playing every week, right? Whether it's the midweek games in the Champions League, Carabao Cup, FA Cup. FA Cup's not midweek games, they're weekend games. But whether it's those games or Premier League games, what are the chances that Calafiori stays fit all season? Unlikely based on his history, as much as I wish it would happen. So he's going to be playing all season. There will reach a point with other players, however, maybe with like Spurs, who are already out of the Carabao Cup. Once they get to the point where they're only playing once a week in the Premier League, like Myles Lewis-Skelly and Jed Spence are going to be playing the same amount of time. And Myles Lewis-Skelly will be doing it on a bigger stage in the Champions League. So, yeah, I think it's... he's not ruled out of the World Cup squad by any stretch of the imagination yet. Not in my opinion, anyway. Have you seen Bayern Munich's post on X about our game with them? No. Is it similar to my... the camera shouldn't have gone, Cheyenne. Wait, has the stream frozen? Can you still hear me? What's happening? Are we still good? Anyway, Bayern, yeah, if it's to do with... There's a point where we end up playing against Bayern and we're on a run of 10 consecutive clean sheets and they're on a run of 18 consecutive wins. Someone's O has got to go. Although it's not an O that's got to go, but do you know what I mean? So yeah, that it's an interesting game. Just a bit of lag. That's on the YouTube. For once in my life, for once in this godforsaken PC's life, and this godforsaken internet's life, this is not on me. If you're having issues, I think that's a YouTube related, especially given the fact that some people aren't having any issues at all. That means it's not a me thing. That's a YouTube thing. So, apologies on behalf of YouTube. Apologies on behalf of Google. They just can't keep up to speed with me. I don't know what you're on about. I show speed there. Don't know what that's got to do with Arsenal. What internet do you have? Bloody Virgin, mate. I'd never recommend it to anyone. Do you think Nwaneri gets into a fuller fit squad? He might have issues at some point getting into the squad, to be completely honest with you. Like once everyone's back, it's very plausible that you've got the starting front three, for example, is Gyökeres, Saka, Madueke. No. Let's say Madueke is a sub for Saka. So you've got Saka, Gyökeres, Martinelli. You've then got Madueke, Havertz, Trossard. And then you've got Eze as the backup to Ødegaard. I think it is. Truthfully, it is possible that Nwaneri at times doesn't get into the squad, which would be tough. It's really difficult to deal with on a personal level for him. But it would be Eze left wing. Yeah, but the problem is not realistically. If Ødegaard had to come off injured and you had Eze available, he's going to come on. Eze is going to come on in midfield. Whereas the left wing, you've got Trossard, who's playing well, Martinelli, who offers something very different, and Madueke that can play there anyway. Maybe Eze does start left wing in certain games, maybe. But even then, I still think you'd have probably Trossard and Martinelli on the bench, so that if Ødegaard needed to come off, you'd bring on Martinelli and you'd move Eze into midfield. Either way, look, these are incredible problems to have. There were points last season where we had no option but to start Ethan Nwaneri, even when he perhaps shouldn't have been starting. So, yeah, these are good problems. Still think Jesus, Norgard, Mosquera, Nwaneri are going to be the four that fully drop out, that drop out when we're fully fit. Yes. yes. Jesus definitely for the foreseeable. Norgard, I think probably. Yeah, Mosquera's a tough one because he's been so good. He has been so good. It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, but what do you do? Hincapie's been unreal. Like, yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. Join the Cannon podcast. The Cannon podcast is the Cannon podcast. It's not a. Don't think you can just join. Defenders 2, Hincapie, Mosquera, and White would be the 3. MLS could miss out. Possibly. Yeah, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. Some people said Ben White could miss out. Oh, look, this is a problem for us to deal with after the international break when you've got players coming back. In terms of this game, get your score predictions in the chat for this game. I want to hear your score predictions. I am going for 1-0 to the Arsenal. I think it's going to be a really difficult game. I think we can stop them from scoring. Like, they don't actually create that many opportunities. If you look at some of the goals that they've scored this season, you know, they're not overloading chance after chance after chance. So I do think we can keep a clean sheet, but I do think it'll be difficult to score. And so, yeah, I'm going to go for a 1-0 win. Now, listen, if we can pull off the win, moves us up to 28 points. By the way, 28 points after 11 games. If we're 9 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss after 11 games with the start that we had, I think that's a really, really solid start. And at that point, we would guaranteed be either 6 points ahead of Man City, 10 ahead of Liverpool, 8 points ahead of Man City, and 9 points ahead of Liverpool, or 9 points ahead of Man City and 7 points ahead of Liverpool. So I think in an ideal, if we win, I think in an ideal world, because I still don't know who's the biggest threat out of City and Liverpool. Liverpool have looked a little bit better in the last couple of games. Now, I do think Aston Villa and Real Madrid both play kind of into Liverpool's hands, and Arne Slot himself has said those two teams played into Liverpool's strengths. But if he does revert to basically what they had last season, they will be stronger and more consistent. So I think you just look for a draw. I think you look for a draw, and if we've won, then we are 8 points ahead of City, 9 points ahead of Liverpool. I think that puts you in a good spot. How were we playing with Sterling on the right wing, Tierney on the left wing, and Zinchenko in the 10 in quite a few games? It was insane. You're never going to catch me. You're never, ever, ever going to catch me complaining about having too many players. Oh, we might have to leave this quality player out of the squad because we've got too many quality players. What a nightmare. Yeah. It's a good. Lots of score predictions here. 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. Lots of 2-0 predictions. What else have we got in there? 1-0, 0-0, says David. Not confident from David, going with the 0-0. Peter's gone 7-1. That would be some performance. Another 1-0, another 1-0, 5-0, 2-0, 2-0, 1-0, 1-1 from Ethan Udall, who is not confident. We got a couple of 6-7s in there. Of course we do. 6-7. We play every 3 days for like 2 months. The players will get game time. Yeah, exactly. There's going to be no shortage of game time for literally anyone. Frozen again. If I'm freezing, I'm not freezing. If I'm freezing for you, that's a YouTube issue with certain people. Because for other people, I'm absolutely fine. So that is not me. 1-0 Saliba from a corner. I would honestly give me 1-0 Gabriel corner. Watch the meltdown. Oh, I love it. It's the sort of thing that would have used to have annoyed me. And now I see the meltdowns. We'll talk about it. We'll talk Arne Slot today. Did you hear him in his press conference? Oh, well, actually, if we balanced our set pieces in the Champions League with our set pieces in the Premier League, then actually we wouldn't be 7 points behind, because they've scored 5 set piece goals in the Champions League and none in the Premier League, apart from Szoboszlai's. And then he goes, he's like, well, apart from the set piece that Szoboszlai scored, because, for me, that's not a set piece. For me is a corner or a throw-in, because that just so happens that's the things that they're bad at. So he doesn't count Salah's penalty against Burnley, and he doesn't count Szoboszlai's free kick against Arsenal. And it's just like, mate, just get better at defending set pieces. That's all you've got to do. And then the problem goes away. Same with Jamie Carragher. And by the way, there is a genuine issue with Jamie Carragher using the Telegraph. He is paid to write in the Telegraph, and he uses that opportunity to basically pump out whatever Liverpool Football Club want him to. And so again, he's hammering on this, the Premier League's regressing because of set plays and throw-ins. And like the article used a picture of Norgard taking a long throw-in, because they're complaining about long throw-ins. And it's a picture of Norgard in the Carabao Cup, not even in the Premier League. And like, Arsenal aren't even in the top 5 teams for taking long throw-ins in the Premier League. And we've not even scored a goal from a long throw-in in the Premier League. And it's just like, literally get better. Literally get better. And the thing is, so much context is being ignored as well. It's like the most common phrase from pundits, right, is when you're not playing well, you have to grind out results. When the team isn't firing, grinding out results is the best thing you can do. Whatever sort of way you can find to grind out a result, that's what a top team does. Arsenal are missing 5 attacking players. And we have for most of the season. Havertz got injured game 1. Ødegaard has been missing for the vast majority through 3 different injuries. Madueke has been missing since the City game. Saka missed a period out through injury. Martinelli's now out. Gyökeres is now out. And we're doing this, and we're still finding a way to win. And instead of being like, wow, fair enough, they're finding a way to win, it's, they're ruining the Premier League. And it's all just a bit bitter. And it's a bit sad. I genuinely think for like football conversation, I think it's quite sad that that's what you're confronted with by the mainstream. Instead of praising Arsenal and also questioning, why is it that these supposedly top-level defenders aren't able to defend set pieces? The reason that, for example, the long throw didn't exist forever and it disappeared for a long time was because teams started defending Rory Delap throw-ins. Teams figured out, proper defenders, figured out how to stop long throw-ins. And so it stopped being a thing. And now there's been such a heavy focus on defenders that can, play out from the back and are comfortable on the ball, that you've got defenders that can't defend basic set pieces. And so set pieces have become more prominent. And Arteta was early to catch on to that. But ultimately, we've got a combination of elite defenders that actually know how to defend, as well as being able to play football. And for me, there's not enough credit for that. For me, there's not enough actual praise for the way that Arteta has built this squad to do what we're currently doing. And I think that's a shame. I genuinely do think that's a shame. Who do you think our next splattering's going to be? It's difficult. Look, we've got a difficult run of fixtures, to be honest with you. We've got a difficult run of games. It's Spurs, then it's Bayern, then it's Chelsea, then it is Club Brugge, I want to say. Actually, let me bring it up. What is Arsenal's next splattering? I still think we're due one in the Premier League. Home to Brentford, that could be the one. That could be the one. You could be the one. Home to Brentford, midweek. Brentford is a team that aren't used to playing twice a week, that are going to play twice a week. That could be the one. Maybe. It's not going to be any of those 3, I don't think. It won't be Villa away. It won't be Club Brugge away. Club Brugge are decent. Drew against Barcelona. If not, maybe Wolves at home, although they will have had the new manager bounce by then. Maybe they've had the new manager bounce and lost the new manager bounce. Maybe it's Wolves. But look, I don't overly care about splattering teams. You know, give me convincing, solid, controlled 2-0 wins, and I'm more than happy. In hindsight, like Burnley should have been a splattering. Burnley, if Gyökeres doesn't get injured, I think is probably a splattering. Slavia Prague, actually, 3-0 was probably a fair result. I mean, I'd love it. I would love it to be one of these, you know, Spurs, Bayern, or Chelsea would be a dream, but I don't think it will be. Don't care about splattering, only need wins. Exactly. Bruges is away. Which, yeah, honestly, like, not the easiest game, Bruges away. Probably underrated, but mainstream's all about clicks and refuse to do punditry. I feel sorry for kids growing up with these being the takes about football today. Yeah, it's a shame. It is genuinely a shame, because it used to be you'd still have like rage bait content. Obviously, it wouldn't be on the internet as much, but it would be in, like, I don't know, football magazines, I guess, or on certain sort of like radio shows, maybe. But generally speaking, yeah, we grew up, there was a lot of just good football analysis, and you don't really get it much anymore. Which is why you're seeing actually a massive opening for content first creators that are actually giving that analysis. If you look at like Harvey, who does some great Arsenal stuff, great Arsenal analysis, there's a huge opening for people that are committed to like learning about the game and analyzing the game and then creating content out of that. You know, James Alcott's the prime example of someone who's taken that to pretty much the highest level at this point. And credit to them, because the door has been left wide open by the mainstream basically vacating that space and just going rage bait. The Sun, like the Sun, stuff like that, exactly. Or you get some mad back pages from like Mail Sport or whatever. The Football Terrace is up there too. The Football Terrace is interesting. I mean, Terry's great. Terry holds the media to account, and has probably cost himself opportunities by holding them to account, in fairness. But yeah, credit to him. Terry Flewers is on it. And he gets so much abuse for being on it as well. He gets so much abuse for being an Arsenal fan. The mainstream media are turning into people like United Trey. Yeah. And not even turning into, but turning to them to do stuff. I mean, I don't think United Trey has, but your opinion on Babs 14? Yeah, Babs is great. I feel like for me, and it might just be like what I feel like, because Babs has stopped using Twitter, and yeah, I just don't see much of. I feel like I just don't see Babs about much anymore. But he's still making content, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I mean, Jamie O'Hara is awful, obviously. Any update on where we're going on the international break? No, I don't know where. I don't know. If you're not following the Rory Talks TikTok account, in the international break, and I do apologize, there's not going to be much YouTube content during the international break, especially during the first week of the international break. But yeah, I'm doing this challenge where I'm going on an international break, but only with the money that I've made from that account. So I've got an account on TikTok, which is for like international break content, basically non-football content. And the money I've made from that since the last international break, I'm going to use. So we're at £343 right now, and we're going to do something. So yeah. I barely see anything from Trey anymore. One thing I did, and I can't recommend it enough. Earlier this year, when I found like I was just constantly like angry about football and just getting wound up by stuff, I muted or blocked basically like 90% of FT football Twitter accounts, like the ones that are just there to troll, even Arsenal ones. Like, I blocked the what was the guy that had the Welbeck Avi? Did he have a Welbeck Avi? Anyway, I blocked it. Even Arsenal ones I blocked because it was still just like winding me up, or like they'd find things from other people that wound them up. I just muted or blocked all of them. And it makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference. Yeah, Wellbeast, yeah. It does. I found myself getting way less wound up on Twitter. Your video on Ollie Thomas's Movember series was a great watch and really refreshing. I appreciate that. That's such a good series, by the way, because especially in our space, like no one talks about mental health or how you're feeling or anything. So yeah, shout out to Ollie. What a guy. What a guy. Hater Central. I think I might have muted that, to be honest. I muted that Stats Muse, which like uses stats but just deliberately puts stuff out to wind people up. It's yeah, it's refreshed the timeline. Anyway, look, this is going to be the end of the stream, the start of the quiz question. So get your fingers on your keyboards for the quiz question. First person to get it right in the chat wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community. The question is as follows. The last time Arsenal played Sunderland in the Premier League was 2017. Arsenal won 2-0 at the Emirates. But which player scored both goals? The last time Arsenal played Sunderland in the Premier League was in 2017. Arsenal won 2-0 at the Emirates. But which player scored both goals? Boom. And the winner is get through all of the random guesses. The winner is Gus. The winner is Gus. It was indeed Alexis Sanchez, and Gus Jed 252 is the winner. Second was Carter. Third was Riley. I'll give it, even though it's spelt wrong. Fourth was Martin. And fifth was Cheyenne, who put Alexis. There you go. Congratulations to Jed. Nid has raised his hand, said he completely forgot. There you go. It was Alexis Sanchez, 2 goals. And there we go. Ross Lawman, VAR. Goal given. You'll love to see it. Prime Alexis in this team would be sensational. Yeah, it would. For a long, long time, he's been the player that you were like, if you could bring back a player in his prime into this team, who would it be? And yeah, I do think Alexis off the left would have been good. Robbed? I don't think you were, Rob, Max. I don't think you were. You said Alexis, but you were nowhere near first. You were nowhere near it. Nowhere near it, Max. Is this the last stream for a few weeks? No. There will be a watch along for the game tomorrow, and it will 95% be on YouTube, not on Big Up, because I still haven't had that problem solved. So, yeah, watch along tomorrow on here. There will then be a match reaction video on here. There then may be some content on... No, then we'll do a watch along for Man City Liverpool on Sunday. And that might be the final content for about a week. Because I'm going away for the first week, like during the week of international break. Then that weekend I'm at home seeing family. And then the following Monday, I've got a shoot. And then I'm back and locking in as we prepare for the North London derby. So that's the schedule. Watch along tomorrow. Watch along on Sunday. And yeah. As always, though, if you join the Discord, link down below, or you follow me on Twitter or on Instagram, I always put it on my stories, whatever we're doing. You can keep track of what the plan is. Do we get a tour of where you visit? It will be on my Instagram and it will be on my Rory Talks TikTok account. So yeah, the videos will be on there. There probably won't be a YouTube video from it. Although maybe I'll put them on YouTube Shorts. people have been enjoying me uploading YouTube Shorts, so maybe I'll do that too, and then you can see them there for those of you that only use YouTube. But look, that is it. I hope you've all enjoyed the stream. If you could like, subscribe if you've not done already, and have a fantastic evening, a fantastic weekend. Hopefully, we end this weekend 8, 9, 10 points clear of City and Liverpool, which would be the dream. But we shall see. I'll see you all on the watch along tomorrow. And have a great weekend. Until then, goodbye.